Planning a wedding? Watch Utah's only wedding TV show, BrideAccess.com, each Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. on ABC4. Welcome back to the BrideAccess.com podcast show. Brides, we are going to be talking about something today that I've got to tell you is an absolute must necessity. It is something you cannot and should not ever go out without when somebody is having a wedding. Today I have the honor to be sitting here with Garrett, who owns Public Opinions Soundstage, which is a DJ company. And Garrett, welcome to the program.
I appreciate that, Robin. Thank you.
You know, I have been to so many weddings. Probably not as many as you, because you've been around since 1990.
91, actually.
91.
Yeah.
You're coming up on 20 years, so you know what you're doing here.
We actually do.
I've been to so many weddings to where I walked in and everything was gorgeous at the wedding. The cake was stunning. The colors were vibrant, and you could just tell that a lot of time and thought and effort went into this. But yet, instantly something was missing. And I didn't always know what that was at first, but it became pretty evident to me not long into knowing the wedding industry that what was missing was music and a great DJ.
Absolutely. Well, and we have a saying, you know, my partner Kevin and I, we kind of joke, you know, thousands of hours go into planning the wedding. There's also been thousands of dollars put into it as well. And it seems like by the time they get it all done, if they forget the fun aspect and that it's a celebration, it ends up almost being like a viewing. You know, you've got great flowers, people are dressed up, they're standing in line, and you're just waiting to tell someone they look good, whether they're dead or alive. And so we always say, you know,
that sounds like a fear for every bride, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
There were no viewings here.
No viewings, absolutely. This is a celebration. You have two people coming together. They're in love. They've invited everyone they know to come celebrate with them. It's a grand occasion. Why not celebrate that with having a party, an actual celebration? And so that's what we try to provide for the brides. Now, we do things a little bit different. So we always bring a disc jockey and an MC. And so let me explain a little bit about what both do. So the disc jockey is the one that sets up the sound, runs the music and the lights, and makes sure all that ambience and music is just running perfectly. And then the MC, or the master of ceremonies as it's called, is the coordinator. So we got to make sure things are coordinated. And it is about coordination. So the MC is going to coordinate with the videographer, the photographer, the hostess for the reception center, or whoever's in charge of kind of running things backstage. And we always joke with the brides and we say, look, not only are we going to provide great music and do all the announcements, but we're going to make your wedding pictures and your video better. And they always look at us how do you do that? Yeah, they give us that look, like, how are you going to do that? And we always tell them, look, if everybody's on the same page and we're coordinating with your videographer, your photographer, and the hostess so that when we do the cake cutting, we announce that, and we talk about it, everyone's in the right place at the right time. The photographer's got the best spot to capture that moment. The videographer's filming the entire thing, including the announcement, and the cake smashing in someone's face. If that happens, that's kind of fun. But they get all of that, and we make sure that everything's happening at the right time in the right place, and that your bridal party is there. I mean, sometimes, you've got grandma who's pretty much taken all day to get ready to be there. Right. And she's driven there at 30 miles an hour, but still she got there. And then, she may be hard of hearing. It's hard for her with all the commotion and people visiting with her, to hear what's going on. She wanted to see that. But if you get on the microphone and a loudspeaker and say, hey, we're cutting the cake, we're over here, we'd like to follow the bride and groom over there. You've already got the videographer and photographer there.
Everybody's in place.
And these are things we don't want the bride to be thinking about. That's our job. So the master of ceremonies is going to take that time, make sure that everything's coordinated and just running smooth, so the bride doesn't even have to think about it.
That is such a great and important point to make. Because I have heard brides complain before. The wedding's come and gone, and she said, my photographer or videographer or somebody special in the family missed the cake cutting, missed the bouquet toss, missed a special announcement, missed the surprise that the groom did for the bride, something like that, simply because there's so much going on, and not everybody necessarily is always on the same page because there is so much going on. The photographer might, at that very moment, be getting asked from some friends, hey, come get a picture of us outside. But as soon as he or she is outside, the bride and groom think it's time to cut the cake.
Absolutely.
And by what you just said, Garrett, is you're there to help make sure that everybody is on the same page and that everybody's in where they need to be at those key priceless moments.
Absolutely. Well, we know that brides have been thinking about their wedding since they were 5. They've been picturing the colors, the dress.
Way before she met him.
Way before they even met him, but they had a picture of what he was supposed to look like, and so they found the guy that matched the checklist, and now they're getting married, and they're having that time of their life and the moment that they want to remember forever. And you want to capture that. And so that's why they have videographers and photographers there. And, sometimes, let's say the videographer's camera battery's been running low because he's been filming stuff all day long.
That
and so he's got to go change the battery. That's a very common occurrence. Well, if he's changing the battery and we're doing the bride and groom's first dance, they're not getting that priceless moment on film. So that's why we always tell the brides, look, we're going to get you the best pictures, the best video, and everyone's going to know what's happening at the right time.
And I know that's true from experience. We've been at weddings for Bride Access where we're filming part of a wedding for the TV show, and the batteries are running low. We've been filming for quite a while, interviewing different people, capturing this event, and all of a sudden the red light's going on in the camera, change battery or low tape or something like that. And I personally, Garrett, have been running to grab new tape or new battery so that we don't miss exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. And it's more than just coordinating. We're also keeping good time. A master of ceremonies is a timekeeper. As an MC, you're making sure that not only do things happen, but they happen at the right time. Things are going to ebb and flow during the evening. So to coordinate that beforehand, we sit down with the bride and groom and the mother of the bride and just go through and get a schedule of what's supposed to happen that evening so that the bride doesn't have to think about that. Yeah. She's got so many things on her mind as far as greeting her guests, looking pretty, and just making sure that she has a good time at her most memorable day. The last thing she wants to be worrying about is, okay, where's my throw bouquet, and is anyone going to announce for me to throw that? And can I get single ladies here on, the dance floor to even catch it? And is this going to be any fun? How am I going to coordinate that? A lot of brides nowadays, especially with the economy, a lot of brides nowadays may be turning towards an iPod and say, well, why should I hire a disc jockey? I've got just as many songs as him. And they're probably right. You can download 10,000 songs for $1 a piece on the internet and have a huge collection and carry it in the palm of your hands. But then they hook that up and they realize, okay, maybe the volumes on these songs are not all the same. So then they have someone assigned to check the volume on their iPod. And then also they realize as they're about to cut the cake or do the bride and groom dance or even have a toast, that maybe the reception center doesn't have the greatest sound system, or even more difficult is that there's no one can hear them. There is no sound system. They're in a backyard, and they're just yelling for people to come watch their cake cutting. And you realize all those thousands of hours that have been put in and thousands of dollars for that to be the culmination of, oh, yeah, no one watched me cut that $700 cake.
Yeah. The music's too loud for one song, it's too soft for the next song, and then they get ready to cut the cake, and somebody hits stop or pause,
Absolutely.
And right in the middle of a song, it just stops. It's little details.
It is.
That there's little details and big details that you're working on, but they all make a difference.